Delighted now to be bringing you a very, very special episode of You Had to Be There. It's tough to introduce this guest adequately, actually, I should say. But we'll call him a returning hero. It's the Chase's own. It's the Chaser, Darragh Ennis. Darragh, hello.
Thanks very much. Very nice introduction.
Name the only one-syllable state in America.
Maine.
Very good. That's my go-to quiz question.
Do you know what? As I was sitting outside, I have a flashcard app. Seriously, this is going to sound like I'm making this up. And when I'm bored, I do flashcards. And I was doing the US state capitals. And the one I left it on was Olympia, which is Maine's capital.
That's my go-to one. Like, so one I remember, Augusta, right? Sorry. I was looking at your TikTok because it's pretty sizable. You're following on TikTok. And you had one recently enough, which was like, can you beat Dennis the Menace?
Yeah.
Or Darragh The Menace Ennis. And I tried it my best, but it was a general knowledge 10 questions, and the annoying aspect of it was like, now this starts easy enough, folks, and question one humbled me massively. And I was like, this is the easy start.
Do you remember the question?
It was actually sports related. It was the Olympic winner in swimming, the 4 golds and 1 silver.
Yeah.
And then the following one was, I think it was a term for nature or something like that. I can't remember it now, but I just bailed out at that point because I was like, the ego can't take any more hurt. And that was question 2. This whole idea of general knowledge and quizzing in general, do you fall into it? Oh, did you always love it?
No, completely.
How does it go about?
Completely by accident. I've always been a nerd, like all my life. I've never been any good at any sport, but remembering stuff has always been my thing. I remember random facts. And I was in the GAA club in Oxford, and they have a team in the Oxford Quiz League, and I live around the corner, well, used to live around the corner from where they were having their quiz in the league, and they were short of players, so I just wandered along. Everything has happened absolutely by accident. I'm that really annoying person.
Like, you needed a new back door.
Yeah.
So you went on the chase.
So I went on the chase, and now I got a job as a professional.
I thought you just saved up money, like everyone else.
Back doors are really expensive.
They are. I know.
I very naively at the time thought, 200 quid, 300 quid. We don't want that in fancy. Be fine. Not even close.
It was literally the same as you. On this very show one day, I was like, I need a new front door. Debbie Grand, and I got the price for a front door, but there was no chase for me.
Yeah, I know. I spent more on the back door than I spent on my first car. It was bonkers.
This was about 2017 when he went on the chase, was it? Around then? Yeah. And I was looking up the clip again just before we came on here, and it has like nearly 5 million views, your performance.
Yeah, no, I don't get anything from that, unfortunately. I'm not a percentage.
But it is mental. Like, so you're a part, obviously, of course, everyone's familiar with the chase, you're part of a team of 4. But it's fair to say that...
well, and you're a contestant, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yes, sorry. I'm now on a team of 6, and we crush everybody's dreams. It's great. And
at that point, it's fair to say, and maybe you'll be a bit humble about it, but you're carrying the team.
I performed the best out of the team.
Yeah.
But it's very unfair to say I carried people. So they did answer some questions. The fact that they were there meant we got a 4 head start, which really helped. They all got back to the final. You know, all of that adds in. If I was there completely on my own, I might have won, but it would have been an awful lot closer. With the 4 of us, we absolutely trounced it. So it made it a lot easier.
You suffer from no nerves going on TV, having had no background beforehand.
No, I don't get stage fright. I used to present at massive conferences when I was a scientist, and I just stroll out. It doesn't bother me.
But heights bother you?
Oh, so much. I'm so afraid of heights. Like climbing a ladder, anything like that. I'm really, really, like, we went to Centre Parks, and one of my kids was like doing the zip line. She leaned over and says, "You'd hate this." I went, "Yeah, I would," because I was on the ground watching her do it. There's no way I was getting up there.
But you were talking to your team members before you went on that time, and you sensed nerves in other people. Well, they would just tell you that they were really nervous, which is really obvious. Of course you are, because it's national TV. Like, this goes out to millions. This is a ridiculously popular show. And I think the natural thing is that you would be really, really nervous here. Most people are. Yeah. And I suppose you've never questioned the fact that it's never affected you.
No, I come from a kind of family where, you know, massive self-confidence is kind of handed around.
Really?
We're all like this.
Very atypically Irish to have this massive self-confidence around the family.
No. Yeah, the way I look at it is they say there's 2 types of people, glass half full, glass half empty. My family always want to know is, why isn't my glass bigger, and can someone fill it up for me, please, kind of thing. We're very much that kind of crowd.
So it all came naturally, very much in that regard. Can you bring me back to that moment around it, how you actually got on to the show? Because am I right in saying that there were other shows looking for you as well, and you were applying for other shows, so you had a few offers to go on to a few shows?
Yeah, so I'd been on one before. I was on one luckily very badly known show called Rebound. and it was a daytime quiz show, and it had one series, and I was on that, and I came second, but you get nothing for second. There was no money in it. So I was on that, and then I'd applied for Pointless with my quiz team, or Eggheads with my quiz team, and Pointless with my wife, because they were doing a couples one. And Pointless asked us to come on, but my wife at that point, I think, was 8.5 months pregnant, so we turned it down. And then I'd already got the place for the chase, so I wanted to go on that because you can win more money.
Were you offered to go on another show, but you didn't want to take a day off work?
Yeah, they wanted me to come down for Tipping Point.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to be a sub, which is really common. This is something that happens. They film multiple shows a day. They get one extra person in just in case someone can't show up last minute. But I would have to go down to London and sit in the studio and hope someone didn't come on. But I had a limited number of days off. I wasn't willing to take a day off. So I said no.
So, like, you're hardly going into that day in the chase now, that famous date I'm talking about, 2017, thinking, well, there's a good chance here my life's going to change forever.
No, I thought I might get a door. That was it. That was the only thing. And when I won, I went to get the train home, and I called my wife and said, you can order the door. That was it.
I think the fascinating thing for me is the reality of television production here.
Yeah.
And what you might think would happen versus what actually happens.
Yeah.
So, like, I would have thought that would have been recorded on just one random day, like a Tuesday, and it might have gone out the next day. But you're talking months and months later.
They record them usually a minimum of 6 months. So we recorded in the spring, and that will be the shows that go out in the autumn. There's a big editing process that takes quite a long time. They record an awful lot of content. They have to mix up, which chasers are on each week. So there's a mix of us with wins and losses and all sorts of different things. So it's very strategic which episode goes out when.
And when do you get paid?
At the end of the month.
No, but for the one you win.
When you win straight away.
Okay, straight away.
Straight away. The money was in my account before I got home.
Ah, wow.
And it was actually in and out of my account before.
You'll probably never forget the amount you won. Was £6,300.
Between four of us, yeah.
Between four of us. You got 1,000 odd.
Yeah, 1,600 something, yeah.
And so you get the money straight away. Presumably you've ordered a door.
Yeah, before I got home, the door was ordered. The money was gone.
The door is installed. You have your back door.
Yeah.
You're progressing with life.
Yeah.
Is it in the back of your mind, this is going to go out eventually, or do you completely forget about it? Do you get a reminder?
Well, the thing is, about a week after I recorded, I got contacted by the producer saying, would you like to interview to be a chaser?
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I was already deep into things. So I knew what was happening and when it was coming out.
That's amazing. It was a week after. So they saw something special in your performance. Or did they know a bit about you beforehand that they were like, there's a good chance that you're going to be quite good here?
It's a minimal interview process, so there's not so much. Like, I wasn't the only person being considered. There were others, so they were obviously in a mood to do this, and they were thinking of putting on a sixth person. So they just put me into the mix. So, yeah.
So the actual process of becoming a chaser from the initial phone call,
it's like 2 years.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I heard you somewhere talking about it, that you had to develop areas of knowledge that you weren't as strong on. So, like English history.
Yeah. And
for all of us wouldn't be common at all.
And just general British stuff. Like, they might ask you, where's a certain motorway? I don't know.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know that? And they can talk about, the nicknames for people from a certain town, or, nursery rhymes that we don't have in Ireland, all that kind of stuff. Like, things that are really basic, every child in England or Scotland or Wales knows. I don't have a clue. Northern Ireland was fine, but the rest, not a clue.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But so is 2 years the given standard time it takes to become a chaser, or was it in your sense because you had to get?
It was me. I think Paul and Sean and Mark were the first two, and they just started. And Paul is a much better quizzer than me. Like, he was ranked British #1 and everything. I think he just went straight in.
Paul is the chaser.
Paul's in it,
the original that you
and
faced
as well. I think Jenny had an interview process, but was shorter than me. It took me longer.
Okay, right. And does your life change when you become a chaser? Like, fame is one thing, right?
Yeah.
No, you're known. You have a representative.
Yeah, I know.
That's how big you've gone. I don't. To book you for this, and we weren't even talking to you.
Yeah, no,
that's when you know you've made it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't have one for years. I didn't have one for the first 2 or 3 years because I didn't bother. I was working full time as a scientist. I only did the chase. I wasn't looking for other stuff. But then people started trying to find me and contacting me, and I didn't know what to say to people. I didn't know, stuff for money. I didn't know how much to ask for. I didn't know what was a good idea, what was a bad idea. So I got an agent then. But On a day-to-day basis, my life hasn't changed.
Was it your fellow chasers advising you to get an agent?
Yeah, and the producers as well.
Yeah.
So they said at the start you probably won't need one, but if you do start going into the fame world where you're trying to do other stuff, you're trying to be on other shows, then get an agent just to deal with the details.
So, I'm asking the most basic question here because I'm fascinated by this, right? Your life hasn't changed that much, so you're still a scientist.
No, that I had to give up. So my lab moved to Glasgow, but a real shocking revelation. Scientists are really badly paid.
Really?
Yeah. So, I was working 90% of my working days for 10% of my salary as a scientist because I was doing the chase in my holidays and I was broken. I was exhausted. I cut down to part-time as a scientist, but then when my lab moved to Glasgow, I just didn't go.
So if you're filling out a government form now, what are you putting for occupation?
TV presenter, I guess.
Chaser.
Yeah, all round smart arse and legend. Yeah, I know. Just purveyor of excellence. I don't know. Just some.
Could we ever comprehend the phenomenon of the chase in the UK? Is it like
here is very similar to the UK. Where you can't comprehend it apparently is New Zealand.
Oh, right.
way?
So
the British person.
Yeah, the Chase UK is by a huge amount the most popular TV show in New Zealand.
Wow.
Has it ever been explained to you the reasons why?
It just got taken up. They don't like the Aussie one as much. They're actually starting to try do their own version, but apparently the others have gone there. Like Paul Sinha said, his biggest comedy gig, because he's a comedian in real life, was in New Zealand. Sean Wallace went. He was the guest of honour at an All Blacks game. All this kind of stuff. It's a big deal over
cash
there.
in on that.
Oh, I'm going on next year.
All right.
I'm going over.
Wow. So New Zealand, the chase, the UK version is like Neighbours and Home Away here in Ireland.
But way
like
way bigger, like the toy show here.
Bloody hell.
Everybody watches it.
So you can't move in New Zealand if you went there?
Oh, I could. I'd have a great time. Well, I'm going to go visit, but like, it's just one of those weird things. It just happens. Whereas in the UK, it's very like here. A lot of people watch it. A lot of people know who I am. I do get stopped in the street. People, walking past me. Like I was walking down Grafton Street today and people are like, oh, hey.
No way.
That kind of, yeah.
Do they try and ask you questions that you won't know the answer to?
No, they all ask exactly the same questions.
Do they?
Yeah. What's Brad like? You're a lot taller than I thought you look on TV.
I have what Brad's like.
But everybody wants to know what Brad's like because Brad's the star of the show. Look, I have a massive ego, but Brad is the star.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm genuinely not asking that.
Epic proportions.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a fascinating thing to admit to.
Yeah.
I was not being facetious when I went really.
Yeah.
Because do you know when I was watching that video just before this, the original viral video that you get 5 million views that you don't get a cent of, that people in the comments are like, unbelievable talent and humble, love it.
I'm polite, but in here, I love myself. I think I'm great. I do. My dad always said the first thing he did in the morning was look in the mirror and say, "You're the best person I'm going to see today," and I still do that to this day.
But you wear it very well.
Yeah. I've been really well raised.
Yeah, that is very refreshing. Because Ger and myself have this conversation last few weeks on the show about like the Irish psyche, particularly around sport. It's like that we love an underdog, and we're not quite sure what to do with someone with confidence.
Yeah,
so name a confident athlete that we have, an outwardly confident. It's few and far between over the years.
It's basically Roy Keane and no one else.
Yeah, and even then, that's a different type of confidence than what you have.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of your lists has somebody who was pretty confident in his own ability, in Ruby.
Ruby.
Yeah. Well, we should get to it in a second, but originally, go way back, Rathcoole.
Yeah.
And how long were you here for? You went to college in Maynooth.
Yeah, I went to college in Maynooth.
He's going to the UK, is it?
No. I was in Maynooth until my mid-20s.
Right.
And then I unfortunately finished my PhD and had to get a job. So I was working in Leopardstown for a while as a scientist. And I really didn't like it. And my then girlfriend, now wife, got a job in Canada. So we lived in Montreal for 3 years.
So you speak French?
Terribly, really badly, like properly badly, because they're fully bilingual. It's kind of like Irish here.
Yeah.
If you don't speak it well, they will just immediately switch to English.
Okay.
Yeah, and I worked in an English-speaking university, so I can read it okay, and I can speak like really like a small child.
Your confidence is backed up by knowing what you're not good at.
Oh yeah, there's no point in being like. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. I know my limitations. I'm not going to do like. If there was ever a TV show where they said, "Oh, you just have to bungee jump," I'm just going to go. I'm not going to do that because I know I would lie there crying.
Well, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance?
Arrogance is misplaced. Confidence is where you are sure of what you're able to do. Yeah. Arrogance means that you take it too far and you go beyond what you're actually capable of.
The bravado takes over.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's empty.
That's not really a quiz question. It's more of an existential one, which you answered it anyway. And so you're in Montreal for a while, and the next step is the UK.
Yeah, I went to Oxford then. I've been there for 15 years.
And were you sad leaving Ireland, or did you want to get out at some point?
I looked on it as a bit of an adventure at the time. It was around the time when everything wasn't great here. Lots of my friends had left to go to Australia mostly.
This is late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah, sort of that kind of late 2000s. Around 2008 I went.
That's particularly bad,
and it was just like I had a job, but I didn't particularly like the job.
Right.
And
is it Leopardstown?
Yeah, and a lot of my mates were abroad. They'd all gone. Most of them were working like Perth in the mines and stuff. I said, "Oh, here, look, let's just go and try something out." And
so,
give it a go.
Rathcoole, Maynooth, Leopardstown, Montreal, UK. Are you quizzing the whole time?
No, never.
Not even pub quizzes. Not
like if there was a pub quiz on, I'd go to it.
Yeah,
you know. And
would you always win?
No, I do okay. I was always pretty good at pub quizzes. But the thing about quizzes is genuinely it depends on the questions, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I did a pub quiz in Ireland now, I wouldn't do that well because I've lived out of Ireland for so long. Any Irish questions I'm going to get wrong. You know, if they ask me who the Minister for Finance is, I'm going to really struggle.
Yeah.
You know, because I just don't live here anymore. But I only started taking quizzing seriously after I got offered the job on The Chase. I only did it for a laugh up until then.
Right.
It's fair to say football is your big sport.
Yeah, I do like football.
I'm just looking at your list. I don't want to give
football, ice hockey.
Ice hockey because of your time in Canada. Yeah.
Rugby a bit, but not as much. But yeah, mostly football and horse racing. But because I had a sort of compulsive gambling thing going on for a while, I used to gamble all the time. Yeah.
Really?
And once I gave up, I become way less interested. But I used to go to horse. My dad used to own horses when I was a kid.
This is probably a misplaced question, but I would have thought a scientist would be very rational.
Yeah.
Gambling isn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And most people, it's like doctors who smoke. You know, it's one of those things. You know it's wrong, but you fool yourself. It won't happen to me. That kind of thing.
Very interesting.
I managed to get the rational part of my mind took over before it became a big problem. So I actually gave up gambling when I was 21 or 22, something like that.
And had you tried to work out systems?
Oh, I had to. I knew. I was following the form and highlighting stuff in the paper and like trying to find patterns and left-handed horses. Right, all total nonsense.
Yeah. Okay. What's the difference between Irish and British culture?
Depends on what you mean by British. So it's regional and it's national as well. So Irish and Scottish culture, very similar. Irish, Northern Irish is the same. Most of Wales, the same. That kind of Celtic culture is the same. And then England, the further north you go, the more like Ireland it is. So Southern English is where I live. It's much more reserved.
You're in Oxford?
Yeah, so I'm in the southeast. So it's much more reserved, much more polite. But it's nice, but it's not friendly, if you know what I mean. So people are very nice, but you know they're not very inclusive. They're not very friendly, like Irish people would be. So you know, it's not a judgment. It's just what they are. Whereas if you go further, I spend a lot of time in Liverpool. My agent's based there. I support Liverpool. I do a podcast up there, and that's much more like it is here. People are much more friendly and inclusive. So it's slightly different. It's a little bit standoffish, a little bit reserved.
Do you get homesick leaving Ireland when you come back?
I used to, but not anymore. So I think you reach a point in your life when you've got, you know, a family life, which is what you spend most of your time doing. I've got small kids. I spend a lot of my time at home, and I would be doing exactly that in Ireland anyway. You know, when you're in your 20s and all your mates are going to festivals and stuff, it's different.
Do you have any friends back here?
Oh yeah. We've got a load of university mates. Still, most of them moved to Maynooth actually, and I have a load of lads in Rathcoole who I went to school with. There's about 30 of us have a WhatsApp group, and every May we go away, first bank holiday weekend in May, and we go off to like Spain or Portugal for a weekend.
Okay.
Because they're all married, so there's no stag parties anymore. So it's a stag substitute, basically.
What's the capital of Lithuania?
Lithuania is Vilnius, isn't it?
Yes. Damn it, yeah. All right. So you said everyone asks about Bradley. That's annoying now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we can ask about that.
Well, I just want just one thing, right, about that is that I take for granted your knowledge, okay?
Yeah.
When I'm watching him, I'm like, of course he's going to be amazing at that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think is an unbelievable skill of Bradley's? His ability to get the questions out succinctly.
It's so much harder than it looks. It's so much harder than it looks.
Ultimate, isn't it?
He makes it look easy. And like I know we do have to occasionally cut. He gets really angry with himself if he gets more than one or two wrong in a show. Yeah, and he's
funny, I'd say, is he?
Beyond hilarious. Just on an everyday basis, he's very funny. He's very, very quick, very witty. A lot of stuff he says doesn't make it onto camera or onto the final edit because it can't, you know, because they're at 5 o'clock. But he's very, very funny. Genuinely is. His background was comedy in workingmen's clubs. So he's super sharp.
He's a good actor. He's in Mike Bassett, England Manager.
Yeah, and
he's one of the assistants.
He did Doctor Who. He did Law and Order UK. Loads of stuff.
Yeah, he's great in it. But
and he's a really good singer as well.
I had vaguely heard that.
He had a number one album. Like he's a good, like very much Frank Sinatra style kind of crooner singing, but really good.
Okay, yeah,
really good.
I could see that too actually, because I love talking about like presenters in different fields, and I hope this is interesting for people. But with Bradley, it's like he has a real friendliness to him, a warmth towards the guests that are strangers. He builds a rapport very quickly with people.
He genuinely wants them to win.
He really does.
Like, that's the thing. He really, really wants them to win. It's not just a job for him. He's on their side, and he's delighted when they win money. And that in itself is brilliant for the show, because if the contestants are nervous, they're not good. And it doesn't make good TV.
So he gets it out of them.
He draws them out. People say, oh, why are we having this little conversation at the start? It's to build up a rapport with the contestants and to get the audience to be on their side. There is a reason for it. And you see people who are like tense and like picking their fingernails or something, and he has them laughing within 10 seconds.
That's brilliant.
And like if they do anything that he can interact with, like if somebody owns a pub or, you know, anything like that, or are from a town that he knows, sometimes he talks to them for like half an hour and they just have to edit it out.
I would say you would like notice a difference immediately if you had a presenter in there who was stumbling over questions, like immediately.
Yeah, or if they don't make a genuine connection with the contestants, it would make the show much worse.
Yeah. Is there a thrill in being the chaser?
Yeah, it's great.
What is it? You just want to beat the...
Yeah, it's one of the really, really few things that I'm genuinely brilliant at. And I'm really, really good at it. And I really enjoy that because, like I said, especially sports-wise, I was always the last person picked in football. I was always the worst on the team. And just being able to actually beat people at something is great.
Being the last person picked is traumatic in adulthood for a lot of people, looking back. But again, not for you. No problem. Because you were self-aware even at a young age.
Oh, yeah, I knew I was the worst. My dad saw me play and he said if they were shooting football, he'd live forever. You know, I genuinely, and he did say that, I was genuinely a terrible player. I tried my best, but I just wasn't any good.
Okay. What did you do with the GoFundMe money?
I gave it to charity.
How much did you get?
It was a little bit over £1,000.
So this, for context, is for people when you had that amazing performance.
They said it was Justice for Darragh and they did a fundraiser. That was trending online more than Article 50. So they were debating leaving the European Union in the British Parliament that day that it went out. You know, and mine was number one.
I'm not saying these two things are connected, but you caused Brexit. It's your fault.
Yeah, and like that was genuinely what they were doing. And then these people, I kept telling them not to, because at this point I was already like in the process of getting a job on the show. I couldn't say anything. And it's like, you know, you really don't need to do that. So I gave it to a local charity.
Sorry, it took 2 years between them ringing you up and then putting you on
my
the show.
And my first show going out. Right. Yeah. So,
and was there any period in the middle of that where you're like, "Ooh, this isn't going to happen"? Like,
oh no, I knew it was.
Okay, right, because they had decided that this was going to happen, but this is the work you need to do.
Well, no, it wasn't guaranteed. There were other people. I was just sure I was going to.
Okay.
So I only met one of the others. He's a really nice guy, and we did screen tests. And lovely guy, but was a little bit nervous on camera. Didn't really like. He knew the answers, but he just seemed to be unsettled. Whereas I just sat in and had a laugh. My notes from the producers after my first proper show, my recorded show, was stop looking like you're enjoying yourself so much. You're meant to be menacing, and then they gave up. So I just have a laugh.
Right,
it's great.
You came runner up in a drag show.
Yes, Thorny Rose in Maynooth. I came second, which I was a bit upset about. I should have gone first, but yeah, I was in my sister's Deb's dress, which I altered while watching Man United play someone in the Champions League. I was sitting in my parents' house and my dad came in from the pub and just kind of shook his head and walked out. It was me sewing laces onto the back to make it wide enough to fit me. Big blue satin ball gown.
You did home economics in school?
Yeah. Thought I'd pick up women. Didn't pick up any, but you know, it was worth a try.
If you had to give up a hobby, would it be sewing or beekeeping?
Oh, sewing. I'm not good at that. I love my bees.
You're very fascinating. There's a lot to you. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Could you spot a good quizzer a mile away, but without the obvious of just being able to answer questions?
But what they look like.
It's mentality. Okay, you can do that if you want. My morning mentality of being able to perform on the actual big stage.
Well, when we're doing Beat the Chasers, we watch people come out of the audience, and sometimes it's visible. You can see the nerdiness rolling off them in waves, the sensible shoes and all that kind of stuff.
Do you have to be a nerd to be a good quizzer?
No, there are some genuinely very cool people. Sean Wallace is a seriously cool man. He's like the Dark Destroyer is not him. He dresses very sharp. He's really cool. He's just awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. I, however, am not. I'm cool in my head, but I'm not.
That's half the battle. That's half the battle. Can you envision doing this forever?
Oh, if I could, yeah. Like, eventually, the show will end, because all shows end.
Do you have a plan, though? Like, do you have a career plan in this aspect? Because you are a TV presenter now officially.
I want to do more TV presenting stuff, but it's really hard because fewer people are watching TV than ever before.
Well, that's a really good point, because I was going to ask that about The Chase, is that it's one of those, it's almost like a throwback thing in that you were watching television.
Yeah,
and
people
you were
actually watch it live.
Did you see, exactly, did you see the episode, which is increasingly rare, I'd imagine, in this world of streaming.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, like, quite a lot of TV's money comes from clips, these days you guys know better than anyone, like quite a lot of the income comes from 30-second or minute long clips on Instagram and YouTube, that kind of stuff. But yeah, audience numbers are dropping off all the way, but our numbers are fairly steady. We hold into 7 figures. I think it's about 1 in 3 people watching TV at 5 o'clock in the UK are watching The Chase. It does really well.
It's cross-generational. It's kids to adults.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's accessible. The most common thing that people say to me is, "Oh, my granny loves you guys."
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of people who are home at 5 o'clock are people who are retired or students or that kind of stuff.
Do you remember when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was massive, turn of the century, and Chris Tarrant?
Yeah.
Did you get to 1 million watching at home?
No, but I used to get reasonably high. Yeah, I'd very often, if they were going along, I'd get as far as the contestant would.
Did you ever do Blackboard Jungle? Do you remember?
No, I didn't. I have a couple of friends who did. Do you know what? I think they should revive that, and they should have me as host. I think that would be brilliant.
Nice. There's your camera there.
So, RTE, listen to me. It'll be brilliant. All you need is a minibus. That's all you need.
It was so exciting.
I would absolutely love it to come back. I think it'd be great. And I genuinely, all joking aside, I'd love to do something like that. I'd love to host it. I think it was a great show. Everybody liked it. And it wasn't expensive to make, so I think they should do it.
Is it the art of hosting that you're most interested in, or is it topic dependent?
Science shows I'd like to do. I'd really like to bring... There are no science shows for adults that aren't nature documentaries anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They're all gone. So like Tomorrow's World, all them, they're all gone. And I'd love to do scientific content for adults, for normal adults.
Would kids presenting interest you?
Like I wouldn't mind it, but
science?
I think it's very crowded. Like there's a lot of kids sciencey shows, and they're great. Like in the UK, they've one called Operation Ouch, the Van Tuckelen twins. You know those guys, 2 doctors.
No.
There's 2 identical twins who are doctors.
All right.
And they do some stuff for adults as well, but they do this really great kid-based sort of biology and medicine show, and it's Operation Ouch. It's awesome.
Class.
And there's loads of stuff like that for kids because it's really well versed. But once you get above sort of like teenagers, it all just falls away.
Do you control your own social media accounts?
Oh yeah, it's just me.
Yeah. So does it get really competitive on TikTok when you ask the general knowledge questions in the comment section?
General knowledge, not so much. The specific topics vary. So if you do, there's some things like sci-fi stuff, Star Trek, Star Wars, the nerds get really excited about that. Pokemon, Simpsons quizzes, Harry Potter quizzes, Taylor Swift, and a few others. Things that have really passionate fan bases, they really get into it.
Yeah.
And they argue about the Doctor Who fandom were sort of bothering me to do some quizzes, and I did some, and I'd never watched it really, even though Brad's been on it. I've never, because not a thing in Ireland.
No.
It wasn't a thing. It wasn't on when we were kids.
That's a cultural difference right there. Yeah,
that is a cultural difference. And they just don't, and it's something that if you go to it as an adult, it doesn't make very much sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it is something, a nostalgia factor to it. So I did some stuff, and like, I looked up stuff online to create the questions, and one of them was like technically incorrect. And the argument in it, it's like, well, actually, Doctor Number 11 in one of the books, and you're just like, Jesus, lads.
I never, when people get that passionate about it, I never think it's about actually that anymore.
No, it's about them.
Yeah, it's about something that's going on with them. But it is it's crazy. Like,
yeah, there
is.
And like, there's.
Are you skeptical with that?
Just
point?
Arsenal Fan TV wasn't about the.
I don't think so.
So anybody who cares about anything.
No, you see, I knew you'd pick it up like that. Now, no, there's a nuance to it.
Where you take it too far, you mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you get to the point of like potentially ruining your life over it, like
yeah. Oh, that's a bit like I've done it with sport. I've really nicely managed to take a step back.
Yeah,
especially with football, because I used to, if like team lost, I would be miserable for days. It was actually damaging my life. Yeah, and like especially with Ireland, because the sort of the results started turning down. I was like, oh, we didn't qualify for the Euros. This is like the worst thing that's ever happened. And it'd be like a week of being miserable. Like, it's only a game.
So what did you think of Saipan then? Just to
I was in Maynooth at the time, and I was still in the throes. I actually skipped for one of the very few times I skipped off work and skipped off lectures and went to the pub with a couple of lads to discuss the ramifications
The correct course of action.
of how much this was going to damage us. And I look back at it now, I was a grown adult. I should have just shrugged it off.
Yeah? Which side were you on?
Which side?
Yeah.
I'm on a bit of both. So I do think in general that the FAI's attitude to how they treat their executives versus how they treat their players is reversed and always has been. And I completely agree with Keane on that. There is no world where a nation as small as Ireland needs to spend as much on the top end of its football administration as it does. It just doesn't exist. There is no way. Expense accounts and six-figure salaries, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Should not happen. But a player should never speak to a manager like that. Never, ever, ever, ever. That undermines everything. It undermines the squad. Just before a major tournament, it was a bad thing to do. If he wanted to complain, he should have done it privately, is what he should have done. And he should have complained. And he should have kicked up with the FAI. And after the World Cup, there should have been a massive inquiry, all that kind of stuff. But to do it in the dressing room, who's that going to help? You know, that's not okay.
What year did the Euro come into Ireland?
The Euro was New Year's Day 2001.
Oh, 2002.
2002, yeah. That's only...
There you go. Delighted with that now.
Yeah. I knew it was New Year's Day.
We'll fix that in post.
Yeah.
Yeah, fix that.
Right.
Will I ask you a question now to make up for that?
Oh, coffee.
I'll find another one. I'll find something that's good enough. Yeah.
No, I knew it was 2001. I thought it was 2001.
There are independent adjudicators in the chase, which makes complete sense now that I think of it. Because contestants will occasionally query a question.
And we do it as well.
Oh, will you? Oh, yeah.
Beyond Dispute, they're called. And they're brilliant. So they oversee everything. They're the only people who see all of the questions, them and Brad. So they see both sets. They supervise the draw A versus B, which is done with like football draws in like a velvet bag with ping pong balls. If you have any questions whatsoever, they look it up. They check everything. It's absolutely fair.
And how do they decide the fairness of the difficulty of the questions?
Well, they don't. They just look at them and see if they're reasonably balanced to their mind, and then it's assigned randomly anyway.
Okay.
Which is why it's assigned randomly.
Who comes up with the questions?
There's a team of people who set the questions. So they set thousands of questions and then they're compiled into sets for each show.
And do you know these people?
I know who they are, yeah. But I'm not allowed to sit in a room with them on my own. I'm not allowed to be friends with them on social media.
Really?
I'm not allowed to have their phone numbers.
It's like jury service.
So, yeah, basically, very like jury service. So if, like, sometimes we overnight because I'd be on the last show one day and the first show the next.
Yeah.
And often the question setters stay as well, so we'd be staying in the same hotel. And if we're in the bar or having dinner or something with a crowd of us, that's fine. But if everybody else leaves and it's just us two, one of us has to go.
Wow.
We're not allowed to sit together.
I mean, it makes sense, but...
It's fraud, you see.
It's
Tax fraud, actually, is the main problem because quiz show winnings are tax-free.
That's not the case in America, is it?
No. In America, you get taxed.
It
So a
almost
lot of
hurt,
things,
if you win a car and
if you win a non-cash
it's going to financially
prize,
hurt you.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. So you know when Oprah gives everybody a car, nearly all of them end up selling it because they have to pay like 40% of the value.
Yeah. I wonder where they get the questions from, the people who make the questions for the chase.
They sit and think of them and look them up and fact check. I set quizzes all the time. Like, so I host live quizzes, I do tours and stuff, and you sit there going, okay, I need a mix of questions, so what will I ask about? Sometimes if I hear a really good question in a quiz I'm in, I go, oh, I must put that into one of my quizzes. That's a great question.
Okay.
Or if I'm like reading something and there's a weird fact. But a lot of the time I just sit in my sitting room sort of like looking around for inspiration. I go, okay, what will I write a quiz on? And like you look around here, you go, there's loads of sports stuff, so I'll do a sports round, and yeah, it's that easy.
Do you have any other questions before we start
I think,
the list itself?
Yeah,
the
list is very wide. And
it is very wide.
Well, I haven't been to that many significant sporting events. That's the thing, in person.
We've been doing this, Darragh, for 3.5 years, this segment, and we often hear that feedback. It's really difficult to actually compile a list. Ger's done an Olympic-specific one.
I think the whole point of this is that they're significant to you.
Yeah.
You know...
there's plenty.
Oh yeah, it's not. We don't even really want to detail of the event itself. It's like what it means to you, and like please talk at length about this because we love hearing all this stuff about people's stories. So will we start with Pats?
Yeah,
you're a Pats fan.
Yes, I am.
Are you still in touch with League of Ireland and watching? Because Pats have been improving under Stephen Kenny.
They have, and I follow the match reports. It's actually really, really hard in England to watch the games.
Oh, it's hard here sometimes as well, Darragh. Jesus.
And when I do come home, it's usually in the summertime. It's usually when I'm really busy, and I genuinely don't have that much time to go and say, actually, I'm going to disappear for 3.5, 4 hours to go to a match. So I haven't been to a game in years and years and years. Okay. But when I was a kid and I first started getting interested in football, my cousin and my next door neighbour both played for Pats.
All right.
So Tony O'Connor used to play for Bowes.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's my cousin.
Wasn't he at Liverpool as a kid? No, was he at Liverpool as a kid?
No, he was at Home Farm, Pats, and then Bowes. He was Bowes captain for 12 years or something. Yeah, and he was playing for them. And my next door neighbour, Mark Ennis, he was not a relation actually, just coincidence. He ended up playing for Derry for a while as well, and he was playing. Actually, the first game I went to, Mark was stretched off, so he said I was bad luck. But yeah, so they were playing, and I'm from Rathcoole, so they're my local professional club. One of my brothers was really into it, was a season ticket holder for a few years. My parents used to go all the time, so I used to go along, yeah.
This is Brian Kerr era, right?
Yeah.
Brian Kerr was the last episode of You Had to Be There.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there you go. Nice synergy there.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
Oh, my, he's a gem, like, oh my God. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 brothers and 1 sister.
And where do you fall?
I'm the youngest boy, but I'm older than my sister.
Okay, yeah.
4 boys, then a girl. That girl, my sister Emma, was called the baby by my dad till the day he died. When she was in her 40s and has 3 children herself, she could do whatever she pleased.
Right. Okay. And were they the softest on you out of the boys because you were the youngest boy?
No.
All right.
There was no softness left over. It was all for the girl.
That's right. So this is we're going back to the mid 90s here, 95, 96.
Yeah, I think it was 95, 96. Yeah. So the Pats hadn't won the league for a few years at that point. I think they won it like 6 or 7 years earlier. But I was too young. I don't remember going.
Yeah.
And they were playing in Harold's Cross for their home games because Richmond Park was being done up, and it took years and years. But yeah, it was. I remember it wasn't the last game of the season. It was the second or third last game of the season. So it was in sort of springtime. I was in Oriel Park in Dundalk, and we went up, and there was a big crowd of people who, we were all friends, and we all knew each other, and they used to go to all the games together. And it was really crowded because a lot of people thought, if we get a win here, we'll win the league kind of thing. And it was the first time I'd been to a sporting event where something momentous was on the line and there was expectation. Like a lot of the time you go to a match and it's kind of relaxed, and if you win, it's great. And if it's not, you're just like, oh, that was terrible, whatever. But this was like, oh, if we win this, we win the league. This is a big deal. And that pumped up the atmosphere massively. And I just remember, like, I was a teenager going, oh, this is great. This is much better. This is what like sport should be like. And it was just that elevation of the atmosphere that really made it sort of stick out in the mind.
Yeah. It's kind of unforgettable that first time you really see competition. Yeah. Because the only thing I can kind of have that similar feeling, but not like winning the league, but going to see Cork City at Turner's Cross in the 90s as well, late 90s and early 90s. And it feels like you've never seen something so professional in all your life to that point. So,
when it wasn't flooded.
But it's forever memorable. Yeah. So, like, do you have a real fondness for the Brian Kerr era?
Yeah. Particularly? I think there's... At that level, at that time, like a lot of the players were semi-professional at that time, and there was very little distance between the fans and the players. Like the players used to hang out with the fans, and it was like you got to know them a bit. And obviously, I knew my cousin, knew my neighbour, and all that. And so when they did actually win, I remember it was Paul Ozam scored a header and sort of looped it over the goalie, and it ended up winning. And then there was like a pitch invasion, but it was the friendliest pitch invasion of all time. It wasn't that you had to storm on. Everybody just wandered onto the pitch and got to hold the trophy and congratulate the players, and that kind of nearly intimacy between the players and the fans was really such a nice atmosphere, such a nice thing to experience.
You were talking earlier on about allowing sport to interfere with the rest of your life and being so depressed when the team lost. Did that start then? Was that the first introduction of like an obsession?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was that kind of that year, that season when I went to a lot of games. Like, I didn't go to all the games, but I went to quite a few, and it just started to build up that I felt I was part of it, and it felt like it was part of me. And nearly I was disappointed in myself when the team lost, because maybe, I don't know, some subconscious level, the way you're willing them to win, and God, maybe I wasn't supporting them hard enough or something, maybe I wasn't shouting loud enough, and that was part of it. And just some subconscious level, you sort of disappointed yourself if the team didn't win.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sort of beginning of obsession, especially with football, yeah.
Does anything you get in TV mirror that type of feeling?
Yeah. I don't mind losing a show if the team are good, if they set a high score. But if I lose because I played badly, I get really down about it. It really bothers me. And I find it very hard to be, nice to the team and everything. Trying my best to, but I'm gritting my teeth doing it. And that down feeling. And if you do it, like the shows don't go out in the order they're aired. And sometimes you can have a week where you're recording 4 shows and you lose 3 of them. And you lose 3 in a row, and you just start little bit of doubt starts to creep in. You're going to go, maybe I'm not awesome at this, maybe.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
When the doubt creeps in, do you study more?
Yeah. And I talked to a sports psychologist for a while as well.
Really?
Yeah. It seemed weird at the time, but the producers put it on to me. I had a bit last year where I just did really badly. Just everything, I was freezing up. Brain stopped working, and they could see it. They could they were in the gallery watching me going, "Oh, something's wrong here," and I'd end up losing catastrophically a few. I don't know if they've gone out yet.
I was going to ask, did they go out?
So I don't know if they have, but I had a few really bad shows in a row, and I was really struggling. So I just before Christmas, I said, "Look, I had one more show to do the following week." I asked, "Could I, sub out?" And they said, "Yeah, we'll get one of the others to cover it." And then they put me in touch with this sports psychologist who. It sounds weird, sport, because it's not it's very clearly not athletic, but it is high pressure competitive situation. And this woman, she was great. She worked with the British Olympic team and all that kind of stuff, and put it into similar context. That it is, you're studying and working hard, but then it comes down to 120 seconds at the end. The 2-minute bit, and just changed how I thought about it, how I approached it, all that kind of stuff, and it really helped.
It worked.
Yeah. Jane, I was really, really sort of worried about going out on camera, which never happens to me ever.
Yeah.
And then I went back and it was fine.
So it was a short period of time overall?
Yeah, just maybe a month or so. But luckily it was during a point when we weren't recording, so I was able to get a bit of time away. That's one of the nice things about the show. You can get a break.
As a chaser, would you have influence on the producer's decision-making about what's edited and what's going out?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
So we can talk to them about stuff, but it's always their decision. They run the show. We're on screen very much. I really want to go into the gallery to have a look and see what happens, but they said there's a potential problem in that the questions are available, they're on screens and stuff, and I'm friends with people. So they're very much about, not being fair and all that. And they said, look, it would be great for you to do it. He said, but there is just this potential conflict of interest where I could tell one of my friends the questions while they're sitting backstage, so.
How many episodes are recorded every day?
3.
Oh.
Yeah. So each chaser does 1, but the crew and Brad do 3. They do hard work, we do nothing. It's great.
Jeez, Brad has 3 episodes in a row. Yeah. So no wonder eventually you're going to fluff a line here or there.
Yeah. Now, if you get tired, and especially if it's been a long run, or if he's doing anything at the weekends, because sometimes he's working Saturday and Sunday when we're not. He's working doing something else.
Wow. Okay.
He works a lot. He is a very hard worker. He does a live show with Shane Ritchie and Joe Pasquale called the Prap Pack.
Oh yeah.
And you can't get tickets for it.
Really?
Yeah. It's sold out. Apparently, it's brilliant. I haven't been yet, but I'm gonna go next time it's around.
Do you have a podcast?
I do. It's called The Normal Meets a Nerd. I'm the nerd, obviously.
So you interview the normal?
No, the normal interviews me. So we don't have guests. It's a friend of mine, Dylan Evans, a Scouse guy. He was a radio presenter, and we get listeners to send in weird questions like, why is the sky blue? Where does the wind come from? Any weird random thought they have, and I give proper scientific answers.
Oh, I'd like that.
Yeah.
I listen to that.
Yeah.
So let's go full circle here now. Go back to Pat's 96.
Yeah.
Just to leave it on it, do you have a childhood hero, Pat's player?
Well, I'm going to say Tony O'Connor, my cousin, but if it wasn't him, probably Eddie Gormley. Don't know if you remember him.
Beautiful left foot.
Really, really talented midfielder. Left-footed like I am, though nominally, because both of my feet are terrible. But just very, very skillful, great vision, was created everything on the team. I was always a big fan of Eddie.
We stick with the same year in the same sport. Liverpool 5, Middlesbrough 1 in December 96.
Yeah, this is the first time I went to Anfield. So me and my mates from school booked onto one of these places where you go down to the docks at 5 o'clock in the morning or something and get on a minibus and go on the ferry and drive across. And we went, and it was such a weird game. It was December. It was freezing cold.
14th of December.
Yeah, and we rocked up, like we were in the stadium 2 hours too early. We were sitting freezing in the stands. And it was when, I don't know if you remember, it was Brian Robson was managing Borough at the time, and Ravanelli had disappeared. Don't know if you remember that. He vanished for like 2 weeks or something. He'd gone back to Italy probably, and he had just come back, and the fans were giving him tons of stick and all this kind of thing. But it was just such a mad game. Fowler scored 4 goals.
I have it here, yeah.
And I think it was Bjornaby scored the other one.
He did, yeah.
So it was just such a, like, when you're a kid, what you really want, you don't want an exciting game. You want to see your team absolutely trash the other.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
And we did that, and it was brilliant. We had such a great time.
Fowler 17?
He was really young. I don't think he was.
Is this when he was still wearing number 23 and he became number 9 after?
Yeah. So this is early in his career, and it was just such a great game. We saw them. They absolutely, and Borough weren't whipping boys at that point. They were good.
No. This was the real talented side. Janino
and Emerson and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like they absolutely whipped them. They were all over them. Could have had more goals, and it was just such a great thing to go to. But then on the way back, our ferry was delayed because of bad weather, and we ended up having to spend about 9 hours in Holyhead.
Oh, it's so great.
Playing pool in the back room of some pub.
That's what happens with these choices. You end up remembering the pool and the pub in Holyhead. Jeez, I hope you were there from the very start, because I think the first goal in this game was scored after 29 seconds.
We were there 2 hours. Early.
Oh yeah,
we were
you
sitting in our
didn't
stand
have
the whole
it.
time.
29 seconds into the game, Fowler scores. Stan Collymore assists.
Yeah, straight away, and then like they absolutely wiped them out. It was great.
This is Roy Evans.
Yeah. It was before Julia came in.
Yeah, 5-1. Where did Liverpool finish that year? Actually, I must have looked it up. 96, 97. That was the time when
6th or something
the
like that.
team was like there was like McManaman and Fowler. There was a lot of talent, but then you had like Razor Ruddock at the back.
Yeah.
He was a good defender on his day, but it was like a bit of a messer.
Julian Dicks playing?
Good question. I have the teams here for you now. Julian Dicks was not playing.
No, Bjornaby would have been left back.
Bjornaby was left back. Phil Babb played. Mark Wright played.
Was Jones right back, was he?
No, Mark Wright, Phil Babb, Razor Ruddock, and Bjornaby was the back four. Yeah. David James in goal. This is according to LFC history.
David James.
Is he?
Yeah, he was on. I played against him on the Chase for a Soccer Aid special. He's a good quizzer.
I was like
He
Clark.
got like 9 or 10.
Really? Was he intelligent?
Yeah.
He comes across. He's
no, he's a clever
thoughtful.
man. Yeah, he's clever and thoughtful.
Yeah.
He's artistic and he paints and stuff. He's really, really clever guy, which is rare in footballers.
He stands out from the pace of his dialogue. Is slower than the average sports person.
Yeah, but it's all just considered and
very considered. Yeah. He was. Wasn't he addicted to like computer games?
Yeah,
he was PlayStation.
He was PlayStation addict.
The midfield, Jason McAteer.
Yeah.
We have a couple of Irish internationals here. McManaman, John Barnes was captain.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas played, scored that own goal, according to LFC history here. And then Collymore and Fowler up front. What a team.
That's not bad. And like at that point, Berger was injured. Because I remember I was always a big fan of Berger. I really thought he was great, and he wasn't in the squad. But they weren't a bad team, but they just weren't as good. That was when, that was at the peak of United being brilliant and their pomp and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Craig Hignett in that Middlesbrough, so he was a good player too, Craig Hignett. So 5-1 Liverpool. The next choice you have, we're going to horse racing, 1997.
Yeah, so I spent many weekends of my childhood in horse racing tracks because my dad used to own racehorses. We had a box in Leopardstown. I thought this was normal. I was a very sheltered child. And I used to go racing all of the time. So the day of my English Leaving Cert mocks, I was in Cheltenham watching the Triumph Hurdle.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I went to school with Ted and Ruby Walsh. So they were in, like, Ruby was in the year ahead of me, Ted was in my year. And Ted had told me to, like, back Comanche Court, his dad trained the horse. I was like, all about it. I was telling everyone, we were up in the stand, and then I went down to look at the horses, and me being the idiot that I was, I changed my bet to the favourite, who ended up like losing, didn't even finish.
Ah, Jesus.
And I was fit to throw myself off the stand.
Oh no. Bloody hell. Is this does your relationship with horse racing coincide with the gambling?
Yeah, so that was the only thing I gambled on, and I did gamble for a long time. Like I would have been a teenager then, and another 4 or 5 years. Like it was because I was a teenager. It was never threatening me. I was gambling my spare money.
Yeah,
but I gambled all my spare money.
Yeah.
And I recognised that I had a bit of a problem, so I stopped.
Did you cold turkey it?
Yeah.
Oh, to this day, so you never got any intervention?
No.
Would you be able to place a bet now comfortably?
I wouldn't want to. Just in case. Like I went to a casino when I lived in Montreal for a while. because it has late drinks, basically. And we were there, and a couple of the lads were playing roulette, and I just sat at the side of the table, and I quite happily had a drink and watched them lose all their money, and went...
Nice.
Actually, what I was really watching was there was a woman sitting at a fruit machine, and in Canada there's limits on how much they can pay out, so it was like $1,000 was the maximum. And in the time I was watching her, she put about $3,000 into it.
Jesus.
I was just going, yeah, I'm glad this isn't me.
God almighty. I heard you talk about Sinnerman Paul.
Yeah.
His speciality is athletics. He's
One of his many, yeah.
Yeah, I think you had I was in research, you said one of the chasers and one topic, and that was the combination.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
Mine tends to be probably science, I would say.
Broadly, is it?
Yeah, because in science and quizzes tends to be fairly basic level because most people are terrified of it. But largely, I would say probably history would be the bigger subject. My mother's a history teacher. Was a history teacher. She's retired now, and it was my best subject in school.
Okay.
So I'm pretty solid in history.
Like Irish particularly, or anything?
Irish and European, yeah.
Yeah.
And how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Quite often, actually. I read books about it all the time. And last week I was in the Roman baths in Bath, and I did a tour of the museum.
I just love that you answered that question sincerely. That's my favourite thing about it.
Yeah. So, and by the way, if you're ever in Bath, go see the baths.
Yeah.
Bloody awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's spectacular. They're still
I've never
standing.
been. There's so much of England that I haven't been to, even though I live there.
Yeah.
But I haven't been to so much of the country.
Bath is gorgeous.
Yeah,
It's
I've
such
heard
a
that.
nice city.
What's Oxford like?
Really nice. It's absolutely lovely.
Is it as posh as people think?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So, like, if you walk around in the morning, you'll see the kids going out of the private school wearing capes and gowns and all that stuff to go to church, and all the students have to wear gowns for every exam, and yeah, it's mad.
Is it all generally one class in Oxford? 'Cause
No, it's very much split. So where I do my quizzes, I'm in the quiz league there, and our home pub is in Blackbird Leys, which is in the middle of a big council estate, much more working class area. Where I live is towards the edge of the city. It's just like sort of normal middle class kind of area. But yeah, if you go into the city centre, it's all sandstone buildings and colleges and universities and all that kind of stuff. It's fabulous looking. It's a really good thing too.
You're quite near Oxford United.
Yeah, just around the corner from my house.
Do you go to many other games?
Not so many. I go to a few.
Yeah.
I find it hard to form a new attachment to a new club. I'm a bit old. It's like I have enough friends. I have enough football clubs.
Do you go to Liverpool games much?
Yeah, all the time, as much as I can.
Actually, that's one of your choices. We'll wait for that. Yeah. So the horse racing to this day still a big part of your life?
No. Since I gave up gambling, I find it interesting on like a logical level, but I have no attachment to it anymore. It was the gambling. That's why I did it.
So like a Cheltenham quiz now, for example.
No,
not your bet.
I might know who's won the Gold Cup because that's the only thing that come up on the chase. I study it like I study, any other sport I'm interested in.
It's kind of an interesting sport for me because we do it here in the show. We cover it a fair bit, particularly in Cheltenham, but we do it every Friday. And we have some experts in the building too. But if you take away the gambling aspect, I'm always interested in talking to people who have no interest in the money side but just love the horse race.
Yeah.
And it's usually a family connection.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So like my dad, like I said, was an owner when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember like I led horses around the ring when I was like a toddler basically and got jumped up in the air when it tossed its head and I was holding on to the reins. And then I genuinely I loved it for the race. And I used to get excited no matter what. But once I got into gambling, it was all about my bet coming in. And then when I stopped, there was just some sort of block, some wall there that stopped me. Like I still understand it as a sport. I think it's great. But without the extra sort of spice of gambling now, it just doesn't hold my interest anymore.
And in terms of father passing down things to the children, do your kids quiz you or do you quiz them?
My kids are beyond embarrassed by me. And if I appear on anything on TV, they immediately turn it off.
Can you relate to this? Do your kids watch the show?
Yeah, sometimes they're still like, oh, that's you that you're on there. I'm like, yeah. But well, now my eldest has Instagram and we would put up the blooper equivalent, and so that's not great.
Yeah. No, the only thing, I did a singing show at one point with Jenny and Anne for charity, and they watched that. They liked that.
Yeah.
But, like, as far as quizzes and stuff, they literally never watch it.
Are you a cheat code for their homework?
No. They're homework. Children's homework. They're like mine are in primary school. Like any adult worth their salt would be able to do it. No, not at all. No, they do their own homework.
Okay, maybe later on in life.
No, they do their own homework.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing the homework.
You never did your pre's? You never did your mocks?
No, I skipped them. I went to Cheltenham.
And was there punishment for that?
I got told off quite a bit, but then I pointed out that Ruby and Ted didn't do it either, and I was told is that not double standards? No, they phoned home, but like my parents brought me. What are they going to do? Like at any point with schools, there comes a point where they contact the parents, and if the parents aren't going to punish you, what are they going to do?
Yeah. It worked out okay.
Yeah, I went with, not just with the knowledge, but with my parents to Cheltenham, you know, so it was like, essentially I took time off.
Sounds like you did an okay leaving cert anyway.
I did all right, but to be honest, I was the worst student ever. I didn't study.
You?
Yeah, I didn't study. At that point in my life, I didn't care. I didn't study. I didn't need to because I remembered stuff so well. So I didn't study for a single second for my leaving cert. I almost missed my German exam because I slept in. One of my mates had to break into the house and get me out of bed.
So you're fairly...
I only started studying in university.
Why? Because you were interested in...
Because I was interested and it was hard.
Yeah. Oh, did you find school easy?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, just breezed through it.
Bloody hell. It's quite remarkable.
I was having a laugh.
Yeah, you are by the sounds of it. Your whole life. Gaelic football, 2019.
Yeah.
5 in a row. Owen Merchant particularly, you're highlighting here. The goal from the restart.
Yeah, just that moment.
Yeah.
That was actually so unexpected.
Sorry, that was originally the series. You know that? We originally started with a player, particularly.
Yeah.
And then it became this bigger thing about the event itself.
Oh,
and then it basically became a life story.
Yeah.
So this is nice because it goes full circle. So sorry, you were saying
yeah,
Merchant from the restart.
So it was just so unexpected. Because like the level that the teams were at, they were very, very close. That was a replay, wasn't it, that year?
Yeah. So 19 went to a replay with Kerry. Yeah.
So they'd drawn the previous game. It was so tight, so close. And the previous game was really cagey, unless I'm getting mixed up. It was a lot of fun.
I think it was about 19 points apiece.
Yeah.
Someone scored a goal.
Yeah, and then he just charged all the way through and just like outside of his boot put it into the net. And just like, people were coming back late from like getting to the bar and it was a goal. You know, it was just out of nowhere. Like, wow, was not expecting that.
And why, out of everything that you've seen, and like even just like specifically all the Liverpool games you've been to, why is that on your list of 5?
I think because it was 5 in a row, and because they were able to do it, and it was just so remarkable that they were able to take. Probably the only other team at the time that could have put them anyway close was that Kerry team, who were great. They were a brilliant team. And the fact that they were able to make it 5 in a row, that was such that unique achievement was brilliant. And I wasn't in Ireland for the first game. I only arrived like a couple of days before.
Oh, okay, right.
So I hadn't planned to go to it at all. And I got a ticket because, you know, a friend got me a ticket. They get really annoyed because even before I was on TV, it's easier to get tickets for All Ireland finals in the UK than it is in Ireland. So I know. So well, I was a member. I'm a member of the club.
You actually mentioned that on the famous Chase episode when Brad was asking your hobbies or what to do, and you mentioned GAA club involvement.
I was on the board. Like I'm nominally a committee member now, but I help with fundraising mostly. But I got a ticket and I was able to go, and it was just that because it was 5 in a row, because no one had ever done that before. Against such a good team. It wasn't like they absolutely walked the game. It was such a close game. And that one moment was what won it in the end. And you were able to see this unexpected run straight from the throw in. It's just sticks in my mind.
What's your favourite stadium? Anfield and Richmond Park, Croke Park?
I have to say Anfield. The atmosphere is unbelievably good. The problem I find with Croke Park is that it's not anyone's home stadium. Like, I know Dublin tend to play there all the time, technically. But like when you go to a final there, it's people aren't sitting in groups with their friends. They're not like you just don't have that building of that atmosphere. You don't have the chants and stuff. It's just not quite the same. Yeah. So it's an amazing stadium like to look at, and it's empty, and it's a huge, like, brilliant stadium. But in terms of atmosphere, it's not anywhere near as good.
Right. Are you a big Gaelic football fan?
Not massive. I never really played it here because, again, not any good at sport. And my local team, St Mary's, were actually quite good when I was a kid, so I wouldn't have gone anywhere near the team. I only really started playing it when I went to Canada, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Just as a social thing. So I got into it more then.
That's a huge thing for Irish people abroad, isn't it?
It's a really good way to meet people and to get to social events and stuff. So I got into it then, but it's hard enough to watch it from the UK. I'd watch the finals, I'd watch Dublin games if I can get a hold of them, but that'd be about it.
So onto your heaven, so Anfield. This is definitely the most recent entry, and you had to be their history.
Yeah, it was
just the other day.
Yeah.
So this is Liverpool 4, Bournemouth 2, but a special night, it's fair to say.
Yeah. So the atmosphere, especially for the tribute to Jota, was
Jeez, that kind of got me. Yeah.
unbelievable. So I have a friend, Dave Hale, who's a Scouser who I met in a pub after a game a couple of years ago. And just got talking to him because there wasn't enough room for everybody to have their own table. So he sat down at our table and hit it off, and he's now my mate, and he's a season ticket holder, and sometimes some of his friends who sit on the seats with him can't go, and he asked me, do you want to come along, there's a spare ticket, and I go along, which gets me an awful lot of hate from a lot of people. It's very hard to get a ticket these days, but he's got tickets like just behind the dugout on the halfway line.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're really good seats as well. So I was in with them. I was in with loads of season ticket holders. Big atmosphere coming up to the game. The Bournemouth fans, really great about it. They joined in with the chants and everything. Big mural for Jota. His wife was in the stadium with kids, the whole thing, and they had like big banner in Portuguese, like message for her and all that. It was just such a mad atmosphere.
Everyone had signs to
hold up. And then at the end they did it again, and Salah was standing just in front of the cop basically in floods of tears.
Yeah, I didn't realise till the next morning until I saw the video.
He was absolutely like very visibly moved, and he stood there for like 10-15 minutes while they were singing it the whole time. It doesn't go out on TV, you don't see it. Right. But like before the game and after the game, it kept going on, and it was just this big, massive roar, and there's pretty much everybody in the stadium joining in. No one really left. It was just such a, and then it was an exciting game as well. On top of that,
a hell of a first game of the season for sure.
It was like they were winning it easily. Then the Bournemouth got back into it and could have gone ahead, and then they scored 2 very late goals, and it was
I just had much the racist incident too with Semenyo, and then his reaction to that and scoring the goals, and then this brand new Liverpool team, and then Jamie Carragher saying I don't like how open they are for Semenyo's second goal, and then saying that to Arnie Slot afterwards, and Arnie Slot saying, well, if you don't like it, go follow someone else. It was just so much happened. But no, I mean, you're right, the Jota tribute, because they have been paying tribute to Diogo Jota in pre-season at Anfield, and we knew this was coming, but it's not until you actually watch it, because I always associate like real visceral atmospheres at Anfield at night time with European games, but it kind of felt like a European game.
Yeah, and the fact it was a nighttime game probably helped, because it was 8 o'clock. So. And it just really was such. You got swept up in it. You know, you got pushed along by everybody else's emotions. You know, it was that kind of tribal kind of feeling, and it was really just such a great thing to be there for.
How did you celebrate the title victory last season? Do you remember where were you the day that you won the league?
So I was in Manchester. And I had just done a quiz. So I do live quizzes, and I just done one. And I was leaving as the match was going on. And a couple of my mates were over. It's the Spurs game. They were over at the game. And I'd been away for a few days because I'd done this quiz tour thing. And I was really, really, really tempted to just drive into Liverpool, park up and stay with them just in case. But I didn't, so I was about halfway between Birmingham and Oxford when I heard it on the radio, and I was really angry. I should have just turned around and gone. But no, I've got a family and stuff. I had to go back. Unfortunately, there are other more important things in life. It would have been nice to celebrate it.
We have to wrap. Sorry, I could have gone forever there. You confident to retaining the title? That's the last question I have for you.
No, not
really?
Actually.
Why not? Too many changes?
I think that there was a perfect storm last season. I think City had a very bad year. I think other teams had a very bad year. I think, they got a little bit of luck. They didn't have very many injuries. I think, honestly, people are writing off Man City and they forget that they've won like 9 of the last 10 or whatever it is. And I think, like, this time last year, everybody was sure City were going to win the league. Everybody was.
Yeah, I was for sure. Yeah, I was.
And that monster hasn't gone away. And I think I wouldn't be anyway confident. I think they'll be in the top 2 or 3, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won it, but I wouldn't be confident that they would.
But you not think they're a better team this season on paper, Liverpool? They strengthened.
Yeah and no. You're relying on signings working, and that has worked out for Liverpool in the last few years, to be fair, but you're relying on signings working. Ekitike looks like a really good player.
So far, so good,
but Nunez's first game, he was brilliant. And like, I'm a big fan of Nunez, don't get me wrong. I'm actually gutted he left. I really, really like him as a player, but he didn't score a lot of goals, and that could well happen. Other than Ekitike, there's no recognised striker in the squad.
And the fullbacks haven't settled in yet?
No, they didn't. Semenyo, or not Semenyo.
I know, but you're
Semenyo made them look fairly ordinary at times.
Yeah, and he's a good player.
He is a good player. Also, Frimpong is the smallest person I've ever seen on the football pitch. I only realised it because he was standing much closer to me and still looked smaller than.
What are we talking? Like 5'9"ish, 5'10"?
Oh, smaller, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah, he's really short. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. I don't know what his actual height is, but he's very small. Yeah. And I think if I was a manager playing against him, I would be putting
5'6", 5'7".
Yeah, I'd be putting a diagonal ball over the top of him every time.
I didn't realise he was that short.
Yeah. Okay. Now he looks like a very good player, and he really gets stuck in, and he scores goals, and he sets them up.
Yeah.
But I think Liverpool's biggest weakness is on the break, and a player that's as defensively minded as Trent was, but is much smaller and easier to put the ball over. I think that's a potential weakness that good teams will exploit.
All right.
Darragh Ennis, I thoroughly enjoyed that. One of our finest experts. Thanks so much for coming into the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.